Day, we are celebrating leadership, resilience, service, both in and out of the uniform. So recently named Veteran of the Year for the entire United States by GI Jobs magazine, Melissa Fulmore-Hardwick is an Army veteran who continues to make a global impact. From serving her country to leading initiatives that support veterans and underserved communities, she is a shining example of how service can truly transform lives. So Melissa is joining us, so congratulations. I thought of you to bring you on, on today, because I think it's a great vision for our viewers to be able to see the local people who are still leading in this community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I want to start with your story initially, because you said that joining the military was one of the best decisions that you've ever made, but it wasn't your original plan. So can you kind of walk us through how you first decided to join the Army?
Absolutely. So I graduated with very high grades and a scholarship for college. Went to college, Melanie, and I had come from a very strict background. We were a family of faith. And so when I went to college, full ride or not, I enjoyed my college life. The freedom was overwhelming.
Right, a little too much.
And yeah, I probably went to a couple too many parties. But unfortunately, I lost my scholarship. And so the plan was for me to go back home. And I was embarrassed. I was, again, I was a pretty bright student. My dad had very high expectations. I was the youngest of 12.
Wow.
My parents had 12 kids. And so they all did well. And so here I was, the youngest, and didn't follow through on what my plans were.
Right, so you had to pivot.
I had to pivot. I had to pivot. And certainly the military, while it seemed like a detour at that time, was a strategy for me. And so I met an Army recruiter at a gas station, random, during that summer, and started talking to him. And I was embarrassed to share my story, but for whatever reason, I shared my story with him. And he said, well, the military can pay for you to finish college. You can go in, you can be an officer. He had this great story.
Right.
And at the time, accounting was my major. He was like, we have accounting department, so you can shift this thing and you can do it. And so I recall going home saying to my dad, I think I'm gonna join the Army. And they laughed, my brothers, everybody laughed. Because they were like, you're not that girl.
Right, and look at you now. You were, and it certainly worked for you. So let me give you a little bit of history. Also, the Chief Information Officer for CSI Companies. You run a nonprofit, Brown Girls in the Boardroom. Just finished a book that is out for purchase. So talk about kind of getting from that beginning to being able to accomplish all that you have now.
Sure. The military certainly instilled in me two things, grit and resilience. And when I think about grit, grit is for me that internal drive that says you have purpose and you cannot stop. And the resilience piece of that says, and you have to find the ability to do it. And so I'm going to basic training, not being able to do one push-up, a couple sit-ups.
Right.
I was a little bit older. I had been to college for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And so most of these girls were right out of high school and they were tough. And so I had a chip on my shoulder. I was like, I got to prove that I really can finish this. I had a strong support system. They were rooting for me. And so went to the military, got accepted into this program called Green to Gold, where you become a commissioned officer, finished college, and the rest was history, really.
Continued to get opportunity and just keep climbing.
And I think it was because I remained gritty, right? I never gave up on the fact that, Melissa, there is something bigger than this, and you just have to find what fuels your inner self, and you got to make it pop.
And now getting this national recognition, Veteran of the Year. What does that mean to you?
Melanie, it is, I put a lot of respect on the title of a veteran, right? I didn't retire after 25 years, but the 4-year commitment that I had, it has served me well. And so when I got nominated for this, I'm like, what is it? What is it, right? And so a peer in Cincinnati, who's also a veteran, I get the opportunity now to do some global work, and part of that work for workforce strategy is finding work for underrepresented communities.
Right.
The veteran community is one of those communities that we help. And so when he nominated me, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And so it was by state. So I was nominated for Florida. Votes came in, I won Florida. Then they were like, well, you're advancing now up to the national. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
And so I was up against, high ranking, a couple generals were even in there.
Wow.
And favor was shown, and I got selected. So it's a pretty big deal, and I'm certainly honored and humbled by the fact that I was selected.
Yeah,
It's a big deal.
Just quickly before we wrapped up, I would love to hear your advice to either employers or maybe a veteran who's seeking work, because we do so many stories too about that transition and how that's hard, you know, for veterans to kind of get back into the fold of real life, you know, because when you're in the military, it is such a different environment.
It is, and it's very disciplined. And what I would say is, I think organizations need to value the fact that these folks have a strong commitment. They're servant leaders. That's been the best part of my career as an executive, is that I know how to be a servant leader. So these are people that know how to serve. They're committed to a cause, and they're not afraid of work. They got grit, right? And so I would encourage organizations to seek them out, right? And so their skills are definitely transferable. It's coming out of one uniform and doing another form of work. And so I think getting a veteran on board would be an asset to any organization.
All right, got a shout out. Grit to Greatness is your book that is out now. You can purchase it on Amazon. Appreciate talking with you. Congratulations,
Always.
Veteran
Thank you,
of the Year. I know
Appreciate
you will definitely do the most with that title. We appreciate talking. And happy Veterans Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you.